Welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here for today. What can I say? We're having an incredible Saturday already because we have on the show the incredible, the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the legendary, the one and only Magalie. Magalie, how are you today?
I'm awesome. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing fantastic. What better way to have an incredible, super badass day than to be chatting with someone as badass as you? You know what I mean?
You're so sweet.
There you go. Now, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow, helps a lot. But also in the description below, you're gonna find all of Magalie's social media. Let's follow her and let's discover why she's super badass. Now, without further more, let's jump in. So I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out the first question, which is, what drew you to acting in the first place? Was there like a specific moment or perhaps experience that made you realize this is gonna be my passion now?
Well, when I was in elementary school, I must have been 8 or 9 years old. I was leaving school to catch my yellow bus to go home at the end of the day, and then I saw people putting chairs in front of a stage in the gymnasium, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And someone said, "We're putting up the play," and I was like, me too. I want to be in the play. I want to be in the school play. I want to be in front of people and be the center of attention. I was a really bubbly, outgoing child growing up, and I was also a competitive gymnast. So I love to put on shows in the living room and show off my skills, my dance. And then I signed up to be in the next school play, and I ended up being Puss in Boots because I could do like cartwheels and back handsprings, stuff like that. So yeah, that was my first role, and that's what got me in the arts, I guess.
There you go, my big start. But tell me, what were some of the challenges? It happens to all of us that whenever we want to start something new, something like something from scratch, basically, we kind of encounter some challenges here and there. So, what were some of those challenges for you when you were recently starting to getting into a more pro career, let's say?
Well, I think any hobbies can have their challenges, but like when you transition from hobby to the professional field, that's when reality hits you. Like growing up, I had a pretty good upbringing, and I was always told I was working really hard. Like I was a good dancer, I was disciplined, I was a good gymnast, and I was always told, you can do it, you're really good, keep going, and you're so talented. So I was kind of a bit protected with the talent. And as soon as I moved to Toronto, when I was 21 to pursue acting professionally, everybody's talented, everybody's disciplined, everybody's beautiful, and everybody's charming. So I thought I could kind of get by with my charms, and I thought people would know, oh, I'm coming from Quebec. All my life I've been told I was beautiful, talented, and amazing. But in the big city, you have to really prove yourself, and you can't rely on your looks, you can't rely on past experiences. You always have to show them what you got, and as years go by, it's you build hopefully a reputation for yourself, and people start to trust you. And it gets easier when you establish with casting or directors or anyone that can hire you as an actor or an artist good relationships, and then it helps you move forward.
Totally.
But yeah, it's like the passion of acting versus show business. It's two different things, and you have to learn how to be a business person within acting. But you can't forget about the artist inside of you in your heart, because that's what makes people hire you.
And how do you continue to challenge yourself and grow as an actor?
I try to do as many acting classes as I can. Tomorrow, actually, I have a Zoom with a teacher I've never met before, and I want to do scene study classes here. And I've done scene study in Vancouver for 4 years, and I'm looking forward to do it again with a different teacher. And also, I do a bit of dialect coaching, accent reduction, privates with acting coaches. I mean, speech coaches, because I'm French Canadian, and it's a beautiful sound. Diversity in the way you sound is, I believe, is important, and But a lot of projects, depending on how the story is written, they want an American sound, they want a Canadian sound, or maybe you'll play a Russian spy and you have to sound Russian. So it's important to be in control of the way you sound. Otherwise, if you just sound one way, like me before, like I used to sound very much French Canadian and I couldn't like hide it or minimize it. So it kind of reduces the pool of roles I can be submitted for. And like, there's nothing wrong with being French Canadian. It's my identity, it's where I come from. I'm proud. It's probably what made me the great artist that I am today because it was hard to like act in English when your first language is not English. But it's important for me to be as versatile as possible and to not just be hired for my native sound.
Is there like a particular, genre or type of character, right, that you haven't explored yet, but you would like to portray it anytime in the near future?
I may look very sweet and nice, but I can really switch it
Hmm.
instantly. This duality that I'm able to do with my acting would be good for a murderer role, a serial killer, a psychopath, a sociopath. I really want to do two-faced characters, villains, or not even like maybe someone who has a bipolar disorder. You know, it's like I don't have to be the villain, but I feel I could do that really well, or do a character that has multiple personalities. That would be so challenging, but so fun to do because you see actors all the time that kind of play themselves and it's fine. Like it's when I have a role that it's like kind of written alongside my personality. It's always fun to play, but I like to challenge myself, and I find that challenging roles are scary, but that's what makes me grow. And other roles I like to do. Well, I'm a former competitive gymnast. I'm really physical. I have some fight training, and I'd love to do play an action hero or like be the lead in a video game, you know, that'd be
Hmm.
really cool. Or be a rookie cop on a show that no one takes seriously because I'm 5 feet tall, but I'm actually super badass. You know, those are the roles I'd like to play.
How you handle the pressure and expectations that come when you're about to present a character to the audience?
You have to try and fail, and it's okay. Like, as soon as you accept that failure is part of the journey and it's not negative and it's there to make you grow, it gets easier. And as for the pressure, like the show business is not out there putting pressure on me. They're looking for an actor. Here's a role we'd like to fill. We're looking for the right actor for the job. Like they don't put pressure on me. I put pressure on me. I'm in control or of my career in a sense. Like I'm not in control of the roles that I book necessarily, but like how I feel about it, how I prepare, how I handle rejection, it's all on me. And I feel also it's a lot of self love, self work. If you're tormented, you know, people like, oh, I'm a misunderstood artist. I'm tormented. That's why my poems are so good because I'm heartbroken and depressed. Like, it's not sustainable.
Hmm.
Like, sadness is part of life. But if you're like a depressed artist, you'll stop writing poems at some point, and you won't put the energy into your work. You'll stop believing in yourself. So self love is really, really, really important, and know yourself. And I find every character and audition I do, I and explore. I learn about myself a little bit more.
And at the same time, how you handle criticism and rejection in such a competitive industry?
Yeah, and my one of my acting coaches, Tammy Gillis in Vancouver, she always says, Magalie, it's not rejection, it's selection. Sometimes I've had callbacks for the lead in independent films, feature films. Like I'm so close, and like they're considering me, they're seeing me a second time in the callback because I am talented enough. I am enough, but maybe I'm too young, maybe I'm too old, maybe they wanted someone who's a brunette, maybe they want a different ethnicity, different race, you know what I mean? Like you have to focus on what you can control, which is you, and the rest you have to let it go.
Now, what has been like the most important lesson that you have learned throughout your whole acting career?
Once I booked few years ago in Vancouver a motion capture performance performance capture video game. That means you do motion capture in a big studio, but they also film your face. So you're acting, they're recording your voice. Whether or not they'll use your voice for the final edit is different. Like I was playing a 13-year-old boy because I'm quite short. So I don't think that they use my voice. I don't sound like a 13-year-old boy, but they use my features for the video game. That's not even out because it takes forever to make a video game, but because it's so rich and beautiful, you know? And on my first day, I showed up 2 hours late. I slept through my alarm, and it's a professional gig. You get paid thousands of, maybe not that, but you get paid a lot of money to be there. And they call me, and I booked that on my own. So like, I didn't give commission to my agent, so they didn't have an agent to reach out to. They called me a million times. I show up, and I'm like, I haven't eaten, I haven't showered. I just brushed my teeth and had a granola bar. Drove all the way to set, and I was so ashamed. And then they were able to do different scenes in the morning that I wasn't in, but it looks really bad to show up late to a professional set. And then I went to talk to the producer, and I was like, I am so sorry. I was up all night doing auditions because as actors, you're always auditioning for the next gig. And I'm like, I went to bed late and I slept through my alarm. I am so sorry. It's the truth. And the producer looked at me, very kind, but still firm. And she said, Magalie, I understand that you have to secure jobs for the future, but you've booked this job and this should be your priority. And she walked away. Very kind, very straight to the point. I apologized one more time. And at the end of the 3 days, they were really happy with my work. But like, will they hire me again? I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't probably because I showed that it was professional on the other
Yeah.
days. And I did a really good performance. Like, because yeah, there was acting involved. It wasn't just movements. And yeah, like that was a big lesson. It's like even though you always have auditions coming up, like there are professional actors, they're on series regulars or they're shooting a feature film in Turkey. And then they have to audition for the next thing. They're on set in their trailer and they have to do well at this audition, but then they have to perform in 5 minutes because like the AD's like, hello, like you're needed on set, close up time. So it's you really need to juggle intelligently your schedule and prioritize and do what you can, do the best that you can. And sometimes I hand in tapes that I know I could have done more work, but I know that I'm okay with it because I was prioritizing something else that needed more time and attention from me. So yeah, that was a big lesson that I've learned.
Now let's say, one day I call you and I tell you that I want to become an actor. Now here's the thing. It's your experience. So based on what you know, what advice would you give to me or to anybody else who wants to start this journey?
Well, acting is like one of the most fun thing to do in the world. Well, it's my opinion because it's my passion. But start taking a class, do a community theater play, meet people who like to do the same, run lines, do monologue contests, have fun, like watch movies that help you grow. It's like there's so much to do, and that's to help you grow as an actor. And like, but if you want to be professional, you have to do the work. You can't just do it for fun. It's like fun. Yes, it has to be fun because it's not fun anymore. Don't do it. But to be an actor and like it's show business. People pay you thousands of dollars to be on American TV or like movies that goes to Cannes and TIFF and Sundance. You know what I mean? It's like you have to do the work. They're not going to hire you if you're not ready. They're not going to hire you if you don't do the work. They will fire you if you suck and are disrespectful to other people. And like, you have to do the work. You have to do acting classes. You have to rehearse with people. You have to like not party and like stay home, learn your lines. You have to, it's like in order for a passion to be sustainable, you have to do the work. And I've been doing acting classes for 10 years now. And I think the only type of acting class that makes me grow is scene study. Scene study is there's no camera. Some people do scene study on camera, but I run a self tape studio and like I know how to act with the camera and I don't need to watch like I watch myself enough reviewing my auditions that I know what I need to work on. I know my ticks. I know that I'm not still enough. Like I have good introspection for that and self critique aspects that I can use. But I know if I do good acting, if I'm connected, and I don't need a camera to show me that I'm connected. I just feel it. It's a feeling. I'm just saying, if you do work, scene work for professional plays that have won awards and that have been on Broadway, if the scene's not working, chances are that you're the problem. It's not the writing that's the problem. And the thing is, with film, there are great films out there, but that are like not so great films because the writing is not very good, and it doesn't help an actor act at all. So if you work from good material, preferably from plays or really good movies that have been approved by the teacher, that's when you learn to grow, you able to deepen your emotional instrument, and also you're not just standing in front of a camera, you learn behavior. And then people are like, oh, I don't like scene study, it's theater. No, when you go on set and you have to do a continuous scene for a minute because that's the shot, they're not going to cut it for you. You have to be able to do a whole scene for a minute. But in scene study, you do the whole scene without stopping for 10 minutes sometimes. And you have behavior, you have like costume, props, and stuff like that. And like when you can do that well without thinking while connecting with your scene partner, and when you make mistakes, you pick it up, you improvise, you stay in it. When you can do this for 10 minutes nonstop or for the duration of a whole play, if you're in a play, that's what's going to make you an actor. I'm not saying if you do just plays, you still need a teacher. You need someone who's like going to target the things you need to work on, is going to call you out when you're not connected and when you're performing and planning and yada, 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 you know? But it's scene study for me is what I would recommend to actors who want to make it in the long term because there's no short term, short way to success, to
Yeah.
sustainable
Mhm.
success. Yeah.
I mean, totally. I mean, usually the success overnight takes them taking years. You know.
You know, Sabrina Carpenter, I didn't know who she was a year ago. And then I looked her up and she's been working really hard. Did I know who she was a year ago? No. Like she was working really hard consistently for years. No one is a big star overnight. And someone who has booked nothing, who becomes a big star overnight, it's either going to be a one hit wonder or because they've been training for 10 years and then they book, they're ready, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, and we have. I mean, we have seen. Yeah, like the whole one hit wonder every time. It's just part of the whole thing. And yeah, and 2025 started. What are some of the things that you're expecting for 2025 to happen for you?
You know, I'm going to say something personal. I just got off a 1 year relationship, and I'm realizing you have to invest a lot into your relationship. And I realized all my free time I was investing into this person. And I think when you want a relationship to work, you should invest into the relationship, but it should be effortlessly. And I'm find myself with all this free time, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go and like invest into another man. Like I have so much time, and sometimes I get bored. But then I'm like, no, Magalie, use that time and do a vocal warm up, do pole dancing, read that playbook that you have that you've never read, finish that acting book that you don't want to finish because it's like feels so studious, but like I want to use my time wisely and I really want to pour into my skills. And like people say, if you don't like focus on one thing like acting, it's not gonna it's not gonna happen. But like I have other hobbies like singing, dancing, and I want to write more. And I have a few scripts on the way. So I really want to focus on my artistic skills and expand them. And I think while you should like really focus on your passion, it's good to be versatile because people don't hire you because you're a talented actor. They hire you because you're a talented actor who can pole dance, who can sing, who can do stunts, who can play guitar. Like special skills are really good. And like a lot of actors, they make it because they made a movie that went to a big festival. Like they produce their own show. So if you can produce, direct, write your own content, even like make a reel on Instagram, like it's creative. Like that's how people notice you and see your personality. And then when you see someone work hard, that's when you want to hire them. You don't want to hire someone who does nothing and wait for the phone or the email to bing and be like, you booked this actor role. Like, no, like people who book big roles and make money because it's show business, they're creative and they always have something on the go. So yeah, that's my goal this year.
There you go. I mean,
Yeah.
relation, things like that. Have this idea that focus on yourself, and eventually the right person will appear at the right time. You don't need to rush anything, or to go into this non-stopping dating or things like that. Eventually the right person will appear, and yeah, So
And there's a way to do it all and be in a relationship, I'm sure. I just feel when someone's in the right relationship, it just all aligns and like no one's gonna be like mad that you're like putting work into yourself because and unavailable because you're doing your thing. Like, not that it was the problem in my old relationship, but like I'm just so happy to be blessed with all this time that I was putting somewhere else before. So yeah, when I work for someone or if I pour myself into a relationship and I neglect certain aspect of my life, like people do that not because they're forced to, but it's like an escape. Like if you work for someone, you have a 9 to 5 job and you don't work on that feature film script you really want to pitch to this producer, it's like it's scary to work on yourself because the stakes are higher. If I don't meet that deadline in that 9 to 5 job I don't give a shit about, it won't affect you. The failure won't affect you as much as if like you pitch that movie you really care about and then it doesn't work. It's like working on yourself can be scary.
hmm and at the
Yeah.
same time also work on your relationship with yourself. I think
It's,
that is also a very kind of important thing to kind of know more about yourself. Actually know you more, because I mean, I've seen it, and we all have been there at some point, that we have like this relation and then somehow doesn't connect,
yeah.
and you still kind of pushing it through to make it work. But then I would say, I mean, what I have discovered is that sometimes life will be throwing you signals at you to be like, you know what, you need to change path. This is not for you, and that's totally fine. So, yeah, it's just better at the end, as I was saying, to not rush things. Just take your time to it, and make sure that you're using your time on yourself and something that you want to do it, and that's it. Don't try to push things or things like that, because they're not gonna work out at the end. So. And moving on here a little bit, tell me, like, what motivates you? We all have those days that basically we just want to quit. It's inevitable, happens to all of us. So how you stay positive on a day that perhaps, you're having those feelings?
I don't know. I talk to myself out loud. I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, Magalie, snap out of it. Okay, you're moping around. You're sad. You just broke up with your ex. Well, you broke up with me, and like, like just get outside, go to the gym, shut up, do the work. Like, so I have like my inner voice talking to me. Um, but yeah, you don't let your inner voice be toxic, but your inner voice should be your cheerleader. You should be your own best friend. Spending time with friends too, helping your friends, feel that you make a difference, a little difference in someone's life. Surround yourself with good people. Invest in yourself. And like, yeah, like you can't always look for external motivators like friends, partners, family. Like you have to find it within yourself.
I like it. I mean, I'm just gonna drop this mic because you're killing it here. So
Oh,
anyway,
drop mic.
and yeah, and you know what? My last question, so we can all enjoy and relax after an epic chat here. So here it is. What do you think that could be the best title for this episode?
I know I told you, but like I'm wondering if with
Take your time. Usually, this question, it takes most than usual, so it's fine.
I talked a lot about self love. focus on what you can control, or like self-love and show business,
Yeah, self-love and show business.
sustainable passion. Yeah, mixing joy and I don't know. You choose.
Okay, I might come up with something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But at the end, what can I say? The fact that you're doing it, that you're making it happen, that you're following your passion. I mean, that's super badass. Now I discovered why you're super badass, because we all know that following, like following your own journey, creating on scratch. Sometimes it is kind of a pain in the butt. But hey, you're still making it happen. You're showing up. You are, yeah, you are doing it. Besides creating cool stuff and everything, what I like the most about it is that you are showing that everything is possible, and I think that is super important, especially in this day and age in which people is just crazy now. The fact that we can rely on someone like you, who besides giving us cool content, is also showing us that dreams are possible, and that is super badass. So
Yeah. Don't let anyone tell you can't do something. The only person that can tell you not to do something is yourself. So believe in yourself. Try. Don't be afraid of rejection and failures. It's part of the game. Once you accept it's part of the game, it's just gonna be a smoother ride. You know?
I love it. So I want to thank you so much for making this happen. I also want to thank those who stayed the whole episode. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But also, on the description below, you're gonna find all of Magalie's social media. Since you find out with me how badass she is, let's follow her. Let's share some love. Let's make her viral. And again, thank you for making this happen. Have an incredible an incredible weekend. Keep rocking, keep kicking ass, keep shining, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Yeah. See you soon, Dan.
All right.